Hey, welcome back to a new episode of Mindful Pulses, episode 7. Today we're going to be talking about awareness and why awareness matters. If we zoom back, we should be thinking about why awareness is so important in our lives, and after that, of course, critical thinking. It starts, I think, with the baseline of what it is to be a thinking human and how education plays a huge role in establishing values, really. I think it is clear to me that awareness has been completely annihilated by technology in general. You just have to look at people around you walking around on their phones, and just in general look at the epidemic of mental illness. And just, the ability to socialize, to realize how bad awareness is, how badly awareness is being experienced and nourished, if you will. I was looking at some statistics that, people on average pick up their phone 60 to 80 times a day. So if you consider, that we sleep on average 8 hours a day, it basically means that people pick up their phone every 20 minutes. We're constantly in that motion of distraction. We're constantly on that train of, what is next, what's going on, what are the latest news. There is just so much going on, and clearly social media, the constant news cycle are just aggravating factors, right? And so we're never really in the moment, we're never really aware. And in my opinion, that is really a problem. It's a problem even just from a pure safety standpoint. When you see people on their phone crossing the street and not paying attention to their surroundings, I think that's insanity, right? But they're also presumably missing out on life. So how do you get to a point where you can really take steps to not only maintain awareness, but really nourish and increase that awareness? I think there are a few things you could do. First of all, of course, meditation. We talked about this a little bit in the last couple of videos. The cold exposure certainly is a huge boost to getting into the moment, being aware, but regular meditation, breathing exercise is great for that. Then practically speaking, I think you have to be able to remove things like, the constant flow of information. So, for example, for me, a few years ago, I completely removed news channels. So I don't watch the news anymore. I mean, I do follow sometimes. I have the satellite radio, so when I'm on my way to work, I may, tune in into some news. But other than that, I don't allow the news cycle into my home anymore. And then, of course, there is just the ability to, again, detach yourself from what you're living every day. I think that's we talked about this, about the pain and how to deal with pain. This ability to recognize, like, wait a second, what is it that I'm doing right now? I shouldn't be scrolling on TikTok for the last, 45 minutes, and just being self-aware, right? So the news being yanked out, the ability to put restriction on phone usage and social media in general, unless you have a specific purpose for it. That's a different situation. I think it starts very early. I definitely would not recommend putting a phone in the hands of a child that is not at least 12, if not 15. I think anything earlier than that is insanity, because you're already starting to program their mind. And again, I think in 20 years, probably sooner than that, there will be studies that show that we've done really badly in terms of protecting our young minds, right? So that is something that I would definitely recommend doing. And then whenever you have a chance, being away from any kind of connectivity, and just being in the middle of nature, I think is a great way to reset and again be fully aware. I feel that I was blessed because at least over the last 10 years, probably even before that, I found myself to be extremely aware of my surroundings. Like I would see things that most people would not see. I would see when I dive, for example, or when I go surfing, I would see the whale that was just right there that nobody saw. I would see the pufferfish, or maybe the yellowfin tuna, or just pay attention to that spider, or like I would be able to really very quickly see all of those things. One of the most amazing experiences that I had, which again goes back to my comment from yesterday about why we're never going to die, we're going to be living forever, talking about the universe and how we transform, right? I remember vividly, it didn't happen very often, but I remember vividly once I was on the beach doing meditation after a cold bath, and my eyes were about 80% closed, and I was just kind of like gazing at the sky, and it was about midday, so you had a big sun, and I was able to witness all of the particles floating in the air, and they were moving so fast, but there was not really a lot of wind, and yet I was able to capture all of those particles. I was aware of that. It was a spectacular moment, really incredible. Maybe another testimony or testimonial of the universe surrounding us. In terms of the benefits of being so aware, there are some incredible benefits to that, right? I have a beautiful dog, a golden doodle. When we go on a hike, sometimes she gets hurt, and I can see that immediately. So I can remove, for example, what's stuck in her paw. A lot of people don't pay attention to that kind of stuff, right? Or, that's not so obvious, but just looking at the behaviors of some folks, and just being able to anticipate and acknowledge that, pick up on those issues and react accordingly, I think is incredibly important. The benefit again is, I think, better communication, better ability to socialize. We often say that an executive in a company needs to be able to read a room, and that is so true, because our nonverbal communication is, I think, by far more significant than the verbal communication, really. And I cannot tell you how many times I have had a chance to turn around a situation from getting disastrous to actually being a very positive experience. Sometimes, a few times it didn't work out, but at least being able to pick up on some cues and anticipate and react genuinely, of course, not just in a performance or performative way, but I think that is really important. So it's a little bit like a muscle, being aware. It's definitely requiring an ability to have inner peace, which again, it all boils down to and stems from being at peace internally. Because if you're not, how can you stop and look around, right? But it is also incredible, right? Because it's the gift that keeps on giving in this human experience. Without your ability to be aware, self-aware, you really cannot truly enjoy life. And there's so many things that you can enjoy in life, right? I'm looking at this. Actually, this is a cemetery. I've always had a big thing for cemeteries. I remember when I was living in Taiwan. Most cemeteries, tombs are in some mountainous area, it's all very quiet because Taiwanese believe in ghosts and they are very scared of ghosts. After work, I would go on my scooter and just spend a couple of hours, riding among the tombs, wherever there was a road, and just enjoying the views and the peace, right? People were kind of looking at me like a crazy Frenchman. But there is beauty in all of that, right? If you saw the movie American Beauty, there is that famous scene of the dancing plastic bag, right? Not to go to those extremes. I mean, being aware allows you to really open up and suck up, everything around you and find beauty in everything, which I think is a real quality. And you'll be amazed also that if you're able to communicate that, people's behavior and people around you will change. The other benefit of that is, of course, assuming that you have a strong set of values and education that you've had and you have received from your parents, it allows you for critical thinking, which I think again is terribly lacking with this new generation and even the older generation. If you look at who we are voting into office, whether it's again on the left or the right, there are so many experiences that show that whenever there is a group of people that are asked to do things that are just not morally sound, but under the cover of some level of power or authority, the vast majority of people just follow along. Remember that experience? I think it was at a university where they were administering electric shock to someone that wasn't responding appropriately to questions, right? And if you are truly aware, you're then able to do the connection, right? Well, with what's going on, what's really going on, and what should be going on or what should be happening, right? And that's I think where you really clearly can make the distinction between quote unquote people that are asleep and smart, awake people. And you could have a lot of people that are extremely smart but are just kind of opted out, that kind of just gave up on their ability to self analyze. I think that is an incredibly important skill. It takes courage sometimes, but I think that it is something that is terribly lacking. So again, it is a fight. It is a war, really, and I'm very, very worried that with the advancement of technology, specifically with AI, this is only going to be accelerating our complacency and just, our ability to be in the moment, to be self-aware. We're kind of going to be giving up, because that's a bit of a human thing, right? A tendency to be lazy and just kind of rely on systems, which is terribly, terribly dangerous, right? So food for thoughts, definitely food for thoughts. I don't know, what do you guys think? The counter argument, of course, could be, well, with AI and all of the processes and the computing power, we're going to become better humans and we're going to make, less mistakes, and, progress will, take over and our lives will be better, la 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 la. I might be a romantic there, but I think that being human is the ability to make mistakes. Being human means suffering. Being human means experiencing the pain that we talked about yesterday, the loss, the joy, love, right? And I think that that's what really reunites and bound us, right? Binds us. So if we continue to be reliant on the technology and AI in general in the future, that's gonna essentially turn us into robots, which no thank you, I'll probably be long gone, but who knows, because it's going really fast. So I almost, and I think we're getting there, I almost think that the whole education system should be completely turned upside down with a completely different set of curriculum that should be really focused on the healthy habits, right? Habits around, again, developing awareness, habit around mastering your mind and your body, good habits, habits around where can you leverage those systems, including AI, and where you should be cautious, and then set of values, financial advices, things like that, right? And because ultimately you could make the argument that the core of the education, whether it's accounting, doctors, lawyers, all of that is thrown out of the window at this point. Again, we were talking about this yesterday. An operator will be able to tell you in a millisecond for that particular patient what was the outcome and the best procedure to take out of 500,000 procedures, right? So extremely precise. So think about the ramification of something like this. It's incredible. So benefits of awareness, we talked about this, making you a better human, critical thinking, getting you to understand who you are, which I think is also the journey. We're all on a path, and some people never really find out, right? But at the minimum, help you develop a sense of where you belong, hopefully. And then I would argue that awareness is also a way for us to master time, which is arguably, especially when you get on the other side of your life, as I am, which is our most precious commodity, right? So by being aware, you're able to really, hopefully, stretch time. You could do an experience, which is that when you travel, you will realize when you come back that time has stretched incredibly. And that is typically due to the fact that you are breaking the routine that you normally have, and you're meeting new people and eating new foods, and that just creates a new life for you. And that's why I personally love traveling so much, because it's a way to really fulfill your life where when you live regularly, you're 9 to 5, right? You are being robbed in a way multiple days, right? So it's just one way to quote unquote hack the time that is unfortunately disappearing every day. Some of the books that I would recommend about awareness: The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, Awareness, The Perils and Opportunities of Reality by Anthony DeMello. I would also Radical Acceptance, Embracing Your Life with the Heart of a Buddha by Tara Brach. Again, make no mistake, we are at war. I don't mean to be negative. I'm actually really a very positive person. But I mean, look, I'm at work right now, and I'm just taking a few minutes to look at nature. It's just so beautiful, you know? And yes, I'm doing this video, but I'm also very, very aware of my surroundings. So, let me know what you think, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you liked it, please share, subscribe, give me a like, and I'll see you on the next one.